I took this already down. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here to review Moonlight episode 2, Disney Plus. I'm Moonjack. He's Leverage, and we got Cedar Superior.
Hi.
Moonlight.
So yeah,
That's
this
right.
episode 2, Moon Knight. Let's talk about it. Let's get straight into it. So it opens up where like in the bed with Steven, and he's
Oh,
having like these he's hearing
the
like
wait it's
all the
already
noises in the
started, right?
house. Right. This is a X-rated Moon Knight.
Hmm.
So he pretty much wakes up from the experience that he had from the last episode. He kind of thinks it's unreal almost at this point. So he's going to work like normal. As he's walking into the museum, he sees that it's like extra closed off. They got like caution tape. He's like, yo, what the hell just happened? The security guard, he's like, oh, they calling it a pipe burst, but it looks like something else to me. Right. So Steven kind of was like, look, let me look at the cameras. Cause he thinks, of course, he's starting to realize that his dream is real. So he goes up to the camera. He's telling the security guard, like, hey, whatever you see is off of some, MI5 UFO type stuff. They 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 pull up the security footage, and it's literally just Steven cowering in the corner, like everything that we saw that he saw minus the monsters and stuff. So he just sees Steven acting crazy. So he's like, oh crap, you the one who destroyed the loo, right? That was you. And I guess he snitched on him, or they saw the footage, because next thing you know, we're in like the not the principal's office, but the boss's office. And he's telling him, like, look, we won't press charges. We know you're going through some things. And he like slides a little brochure over to him, right? And it was like a mental health brochure. It's like, look, you need to
Oh
see these
God.
doctors. Yeah, because honestly, they couldn't sue him. He's crazy. He would just, they'll just lock him away in the crazy house, but they wouldn't put him in jail or anything. And then they'll never get their money. So they're like, look, yeah, go to this doctor. Let's get you on a payment plan, but you're fired, pretty much. So he had to turn in his ID, broke his heart, because he's all about
He's the gift shopper.
yeah, the gift shop is that's him. That's his main thing. So he's heartbroken. He goes to his best friend, aka the statue man, the tourist street performer, and he tells him all his woes, like he does, I'm sure, every night before going home after work. And as he's talking to him, he realizes, he's like kind of talks himself into a solution. He's like, yo, I know that there's this storage facility because I have a key. I should go investigate that to kind of like prove that I'm not crazy to myself, because everyone else clearly thinks he's crazy, right?
I like this part real quick. I just wanted to say it because it was hilarious. Because the at previous episode, I said, "Why is he just talking to a statue?" And when we did the review last week, you guys pointed out like, "No, that's just a gold man standing still." But I liked when he gave him the hug because he was so excited. Like, I got an idea. And you see the guy go, his, like, for that moment he broke. And I was waiting for him, and I can't wait to go into further episodes where we're gonna call him Goldie, where Goldie
Goldie.
eventually, yeah, Goldie eventually says, "Will you stop touching me?" I'm just waiting for that moment to come through. But I just wanted to say that.
He's gonna come and make a save somewhere. I got a feeling like he's gonna come and help in the fight.
He
Goldie's going to
might
be a hero. Gold Daddy. There we go.
not go. No, not a go daddy. We're not loosey goosey with this daddy title. Okay, only the real daddies get the daddy title. But speaking of daddies,
That's
we
real
do get a
life.
little peek of daddy this episode, right? Moon Daddy. So he goes into this storage facility. The guy luckily recognizes him. He's like, "Hey, yeah, you 46. Let's see, I'll show you where to
Mhm.
go." He gets into the storage facility, and it's just a whole bunch of like, military-esque duffel bags. We got a cot, and it's like, what's going on here? So Stephen opens up one of the bags, and it's weaponry in there. It's like guns, like a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And as he's going through it, I think in the reflection we get Moon Daddy. He's like, hey, put it away, don't touch that, right? And that's when Stephen kind of confronts me, like, hey, yeah, the man in the mirror, literally, right?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. So he's like, what's going on here? Are you some kind of murderer or something? And Moon Daddy's like, look, it's kind of more in depth than that. You don't want to know. But Stephen like, look, I need to know.
He said, "I want a bloody no,
Right? I want to bloody know.
bloody
And that's
no."
what,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the
And
thing
that's
there.
what Moo Daddy was like, all right, bet I am an avatar to this Egyptian god named
Who
what's
was
her
it?
name?
Kaidos,
Kachu?
Kachu. Yeah, it was one of the Pikachu's. Kachu. God bless you.
It's something with like a chew
It was,
sounding at the end.
yeah, it was like
Kachu?
it was Gesundheit. But like, yeah, dude.
It's something along those lines. We'll call him, we don't know. We don't have a name for him yet, but that Egyptian god, he serves him pretty much. He has to work, do
he's
his
like
bidding.
he's the narrator. I would say the narrator because he narrates everything. When he says the one who kept calling Stephen a fool, that's the nickname I got from him, the narrator.
But he's not like he has the power. Like
He
he's a
do.
god.
He is. He and a floating head too.
Well, I mean,
So-
now at least we know what that voice is. Because at first I thought it was Moonlight himself. You know what I mean?
But even in episode 1, not to go take away from this episode 2, he was there. You saw him plenty of times, but we got more of a better look at him, I would say, because I don't know if we had a look at him with with the head and everything like that. But carry on. He's avid. He's representing this giant god.
Yes. And Stephen pretty much freaks out. He's like, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to show him all of this and confess, and they're about to lock me away, and I'll never see you again, pretty much. So he leaves the storage unit, and as he's going through the hall, like walking, the lights start flickering, right? And you're like, yo, what the fuck? So we get in the distance, we see like a little flicker, and it's the god. He's coming after him.
I wouldn't pay that light bill.
Apparently, but he was doing something with the electricity. So Stephen, like the genius man that he is, he instantly runs, and I'm like, yes, Stephen, that's exactly what the fuck you're supposed to do when there's something creepy going on. You run instantly. I don't know if you guys saw Morbius, but there was a scene where literally the same thing happened, right? There's like the lights flickering, something scary down the hall, chick just still walking all normal, like I'm like, bitch, run.
Well, to be
Stephen
fair,
smart.
real quick question: Mobius, it takes place in New York, right?
Yes,
That's exactly why.
Oh, you guys.
That's exactly why. Yeah. New Yorkers don't really run until the threat is really in front of them. They're like, oh. So go ahead.
So yeah, they're in London here. Apparently, they book it as soon as they sense danger, and that's exactly what he did. But he kind of like running. It's almost like a maze in there. He's running. He ends up running, turning the corner, and he ends up right behind the Egyptian god.
Did you see that froze shot? When I think it was after when you said when he looks at him. I think it was just because like the camera freezes when he goes and then he's like shown running out and everything. There was like a freeze. I thought that was really good take.
But I'm like, that was a decision that was made. I'm not sure for what reason. Like, did he flash out? Did Mark take over? But apparently not, because he left. So it's just like, what the fuck was this here for? This weird transition, in my opinion. But he's in the street. He's falls on his ass. Next thing you know, we get a girl coming up in a bike, and this is the mysterious Layla from the telephone call, right?
Magic Layla.
She comes, she kind of rescues him. He convinces her, hey, take me back to my flat. And as they're riding together on this little zip motorcycle, she's like, and this is weird scene where he's like gripping her shoulders because he's never really been around a woman.
Yeah, exactly. He knew what to do there. He didn't know like because
grab her waist.
Well, some guys never experienced it. So like he's holding it, he's doing the claw on her shoulder like this. It's like the claw to the point she says, "Stop that! What are you doing, mate?" And then when she does the thing and he grabs. I said, there we go, Steven. There we go, big boy Steven.
Grabs her around the waist. He almost orgasmed, but he made it through the ride.
To be fair, he did that because he was scared he would fall off. He didn't do that because it wasn't out of, it was real more out of fear.
I mean, you know what, though? But that was interesting because then right there, he finds out something real interesting, why he should be a little bit closer to her.
Yes, indeed. As they're chit-chatting, he's like, how did you find me? She's like, oh, I tracked your phone. I thought that's what you were trying to get me to do when you turned it on. And he was like, pretty much, I'm not Mark. She thinks he's Mark still. Right. And she was like, stop the accent, Mark. I'm your wife. No one's chasing us. So we find out that he's a whole Moon Daddy is a whole married man. And that's when I was like, what the hell? So he's going after Hottie with the body, trying to ask her out on a date. Whole time he's got a wife, maybe kids at home.
Maybe he's
what
a
a
cheating
dirty bird.
He's a cheating daddy.
He's cheating fucking daddy.
That's right. CFD. CFD.
And I'm like, they better justify this somewhere in the story, because if not, then he's just a cheater. And that will make him lose his daddy title.
Can we be honest? Can we be honest? If I hear the name Mark, a name like that is not loyal. Like, he just seems like that's not a loyal name. Of course, because you know why? Because he want to leave his mark.
I guess so.
Boom!
All over the city.
He want to spoil his royal oats.
Facts. And I'm like, oh, that just was so horrible. So he's married to this woman, asking this other lady out, trying to get some pussy. And it's just very like,
there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this, get your drinks up. Give us a like, love, and share. Yes, that's right. Give it up for what was it, Mark? Because he's out there trying to get some poontang.
Getting some poontang.
Leaving his mark all over the place. Nasty. Yeah, nasty Mark.
Into the steakhouse and give it a steak. Yeah.
Right. Give it a red meat.
Facts.
So they get back to his apartment, right? And she's pretty much looking over the place like, oh, what, you live here with a woman? She's giving him like, the interrogation. He's like, no, I live here alone. I have a sleeping condition, because she sees like the whole situation with the bed, with the whips and the chains and everything else. She's like, what's going on here?
And the baby oil.
And everything. So he's like, yo, no, I live here alone. This is my mother's flat, apparently. And she said something that I think may be important. Like, oh, you're talking to her again. I still believe that the mother is not existing. I think he's talking to himself or something. But anyway, pretty much she's under the impression that this is Mark still like, pretending to be this guy named Steven. And throughout the scene, Steven is trying to convince her like, no, I'm not Mark. Meanwhile, we have Mark in the reflection of things. He's in the reflection of the fish tank, in the reflection of the mirror.
Yeah.
Tell him like, look, like she doesn't need to be involved. Get her out of here. And I thought it was interesting visually how they did it. I think they probably did it better in the Candyman movie, the second Candyman, where you kind of see him in the reflection and he's like doing things. But it wasn't done, horribly here. So as they're talking, Steven is like, look, I got something to tell you. He's about to spill the fucking beans because, he's lost. Mm-hmm. He needs help navigating this new world that he finds himself in.
Right. And a world he never asked about. I do want to throw out a world he never asked to be a part of.
Facts. So as he's trying to ask for help, she's like, look, just whatever. Here's the paperwork you sent to me. Just sign it so we get this over with.
What's that paperwork say?
The paperwork was divorce papers, guys. He's trying to divorce Layla.
Okay, so he was trying to get a divorce. So then so he wasn't a cheater.
They are not divorced. They're still married in the eyes of God. So yes.
Yes.
Still married.
Yo, that was the illest somersault I ever heard. Okay.
Oh, yes. As far as they know. And plus, Layla doesn't even seem on board really with the divorce. She's doing it because he sent her to paperwork.
Yeah. He asked for it. Yeah.
So she's low-key still in love with this man, and he's out here just sowing his royal oats all over the world, and it's disgusting. But anyway.
Mark being Mark.
So yes. So Steven is like, divorce papers. I would never divorce a woman like you. I've never divorced you.
Hold up, wait. You gotta add the glasses too. He had the glasses. He's got the paperwork.
Wait, he's like, let me take a look at this.
Yeah, he's like, wait, what? Divorce?
No.
He said, the only D I want to give you is, I'll stop right there. But,
this one, the D, the real D.
This is the wrong D I didn't want to, this is the wrong D. I wanted to give you the other one. Because, this is the first time he ever had a woman in the house. So he already don't know what to do. He's just scrambling and I digress. But go ahead.
So, as he's looking through the divorce papers, right, old girl is snooping. She's snooping around. And she looks in the duffel bag and finds the amulet. And they call it like a scallop, or it's kind of like scallop and scabs.
It's when he was in that little hotel, little thing, I forget what it was, the place where it was before he ran into like the giant god. He found that. But I do want to point out the part where because he was already ready to reveal to Layla, like, wait till you see the stuff in this bag. Wait till you see the stuff in this bag. Blah, 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 blah. He's opening, and Mark is trying to warn him, like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. To the point where he says, if you do it, she'll die, and he had to
Right.
stop. And that's when she goes in. What's in the bag? Why you hide? And of course, Steve was a pussy, so he's easily pushed by this woman. Although I gotta say, Layla was a kick-ass, but we'll get to that part later.
Yeah.
But pushes him to the side, and she's like, "Oh, you trying to hide this from me? You trying to keep this to yourself?" Which this obviously this scallop, this emblem, however you want to word it, because there's so many words for this thing. He's like, "Oh, I don't even care about that. You could keep it."
Yeah.
All yours.
Because apparently this is something that
It's
him
major.
or Mark and Layla kind of like recovered together. They got this amulet together. She's like, "Oh, you took this?" She's upset that he has it. And yeah, that's when he's like, "Oh yeah, you can take it, right?"
Steven, so we know.
Yeah, Steven said you can take it. But as they're like, kind of navigating through this new discovery, he's like, "Yo, I'm in trouble. I think you're the only one who can help me." Then we get a little knock at the door, and we're like, "Who the fuck is this?" Right? So it's two new characters. They come like, "Hey," and he's like, "Oh, they're coming after me because I destroyed the bathroom." He thinks it's the LAPD.
That's usually how my job go after me.
Oh, that's
usually my job does that. I'm on fire tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
If you're watching, leave us a like, drink your drinks. We are drinking our beverages and talking about the show. So right. Leave us a like, share us with all of your friends, and let's talk about Moon Knight. Please. So he opens the door. Oh, Layla, she's streetwise, kind of like Streetwise from Hawkeye. She makes her escape. She escapes to the window, right?
Brilliant.
And he opens the door. There's two folks at the door. It's a white guy and a lady from Wakanda. And she's like, she got the bald head, like she's like, one of them, right? With the warrior ladies. Right. And very beautiful woman. She comes in. Beautiful. They start like interrogating him. They're like, "Hey, are you here alone? What's this? What's this?" They start. And by the way, if you're watching, you do not have to let the police, if you think it's police, in your house unless they have the warrant. But Stephen, just lets them in.
But I gotta say, he really didn't want to. But one of the guys really just,
forced his way in.
Yeah.
Yes. And that should have been his first warning. But so anyway, they're going through his stuff. They go through his little duffel bag, and they're like, "Yo, what we got here? We got
we doing that?
We got a passport with a whole other nigga name. It's Mark, and your name is Steven." Yeah. So they're like, "Oh yeah, you coming with us for sure. Pack it up. You're coming in the back of the patrol truck, right?"
Yep.
So they get him back in the car. They're like, "Oh yeah, we got ourselves an assassin. He was in." They're pulling up on the laptop. They're driving with the laptop, not paying attention to the road. And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is what he did over in Egypt. He assassinated some, archaeologists." And they show us like the images and stuff like that. And whole time Steven's like, "Yo, this is not me. I work at a gift shop. I'm not this guy."
He had to throw that out there. Look, I'm not who you think you are. I'm at the gift shop. Mm-hmm. I loved how he threw that out there because I felt like that was a joke even later on. But go ahead.
Just a regular guy. And whole time in the back of the car, Mark is in the reflection of the window telling him like, "Look, just give me control of the body, bro. I got us out the last situation. I can get us out this motherfucker right now, right?" But Steven is like, "No, you're a bad guy," because he sees that from the laptop that he's killed people, right? And he thinks he's a bad guy. And Steven does have like this sense of morality about him. Like he wants to do the right thing. So as they're, driving, they end up at like this, very sketchy place. And he's like, "Yo, this is not the police station. Where are we?" And they're like, the lady and the white guy in the front, they're like, "What makes you think we're taking you to the police station?" So we find out that that's not even the goddamn police. These people are, sketchy. So, yes, yep. Sketchy. And apparently they're sketchy in the cult like genre because we get Arthur, whatever his name is, aka.
No, you're right, Arthur. Glass shoes.
Yes, him. Glass shoes. He comes.
Jesus Fives.
Him and Lynn shop at the same outlet.
Well, Lynn's is more modern. Like these ones are definitely for the grill.
Oh,
But
these are the
these
grill
ones
5,000.
are
So, so yeah, we get Arthur. He comes out. He's like, oh yeah, pretty much welcome here. He knows about Mark. And we're like, yo, what's about to happen? He about to take him hostage or something, or he's about to torture him, or we don't know what's about to happen. But he's very civil with him. He takes him through this low-key community that they have going on. He said, they're walking through the streets. Arthur's telling him how this used to be the projects,
yes.
but he kind of converted it.
Like his own community. Like
Yes.
he made it his own community. Like you see the kids having like the way this was structured, right? So as I'm watching this, I already know how these characters are, right? But the way Arthur came off, he was so peaceful. He
Mm-hmm.
came off like, look at this land we got. Look at the kids. The kids were having a good time. He was speaking Mandarin to, I believe it was the kids, to which
Yeah, some
Stephen
kid.
was like, "What is this, Chinese?" He said, "No, it's Mandarin." And he said, "We learned 3 different languages." And just showing how like this land, how like people are like eating, like it's just a peaceful community because it's just a peaceful community. So it goes like it threw me off for a minute, but I'm like, are we sure Arthur's the bad guy? Like this guy's like showing
Right.
all these things where don't get me wrong, I know, but still he's have all the kids here. Um and I'm just saying it's just a peaceful environment. Even something like this about Steven, he said, "You're vegan, right?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." Like he knew that little detail where everyone else didn't know. Because like even early on, they kept calling him Scotty. To you, which still Steven, but he
Mm-hmm.
realized he's Steven, and you're a vegetarian. Oh, I mean a vegan.
Yeah, he
So,
knows these things about him. He's acknowledging him as an individual. He's showing him this community, the community that he's built.
yes,
And they seem very wholesome. Like you said, they're
there you
learning
go.
different
That's a good word.
languages. They're very, accepting of people, right? So we're like,
Until
okay,
you
it
sin.
seems kind of nice there.
Until you sin.
All right, until you sin. But
Can't be
okay,
a
so
part of this world.
we'll
Go
get there. We offers him like a little bowl of soup or whatever the heck it is, because the food
vegan
is
soup.
free there.
Yeah, vegan soup.
And as he's talking to him, he's saying, hey, yeah, I know your struggles, because the Egyptian god that's like telling you to kill me right now,
Excuse me.
pretty much, because that's what he's doing. I used to work
Yeah.
for, he used to control me. I used to be his avatar. He spilled all the beans. So
Hopefully they have maintenance.
as he's telling him this, he tells him some stuff that I think is going to be important. The Egyptian god, he has really no power other than like blowing the wind and like shoving some shit around. And Stephen has the option to not listen to this Egyptian god, right? Because apparently that's what Arthur did, because he discloses that he was once the avatar before Stephen and Mark.
Right.
So as they're having like this very civil conversation at the dinner table, Arthur's telling him, hey, yeah, I stopped working for him and I started working at this new company with this new god. And she's better. Like, she judges people. She doesn't wait for people to commit crimes. She just take them out from the get. And Stephen, like, he's like, eating his soup, eating his food, like thinking to himself, so y'all just,
I just
taking
kill
out babies and, before people even have a chance to do anything, y'all messing them up for thoughts.
Right.
And that's when Arthur, he realized that, look, this may not be the guy I need to convince. Let me talk to Mark. And of course, he's not trying to give the body to Mark. He don't know what's going on. So as he's doing that, Arthur's assessing the situation and he's realizing that Stephen isn't going to be so easily converted into like this whole belief. Right. So he shows them this cane that he has on the side. He said, hey, you see that? This is just a portion of the power that my goddess holds and bestows upon me. So he starts doing all this freaky deaky with the cane, asking for the amulet. And of course, Stephen doesn't have it. He's like, look, I don't have it. And I was like, yeah, I know you know who has it. So who got the motherfucking amulet, right? And
which Mark kept saying, do not give her up. So it shows that he, we were talking earlier, but I didn't want to throw in he does care. Okay. Oh,
He
okay.
does, but he's still sleeping around with old girl, but he does not want to see her in danger,
Of
right?
course not. There we go.
So
I think that's why he offered the divorce.
to kind of get her away from danger.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Because
I
yeah,
think, and I think that's something we could save for later because there is that conversation as. But
uh-huh,
yeah,
later
yeah,
on in the episode. But
yes,
yeah, I can see that. So
same.
things are heating up. The pressure's on. Next thing you know, we get somebody busting through the cafeteria doors, and it's old
Magic
girl,
Layla,
Miss Layla, Miss
Magic
Layla
Layla, Mhm.
with the amulet. So she brought the goods to the exchange,
and the
which is something
amulet,
you should never do. Right? That's what I'm saying. She
and the
brought the
amulet. She bought the
goods.
goods and the amulet because she
That's
is the goods.
oh yeah, she's a very beautiful woman. Nice
Yes,
curly hair like
oh,
Hermione or something off of
very.
Harry Potter.
And I think that's what caught my eye was her beautiful curly
Yeah,
hair.
beautiful mane, beautiful hair.
Yes,
So she comes in with the amulet and she's like, look, get the hell away from my man, pretty much. She has it
she
and
did.
she gives it to Steven, telling, hey, change into the suit. And I'm like, this is confusing to me because we'll discuss it a little later, but she's
Sure.
like, she knows he can morph into this suit guy who has like these abilities. And Steven's like, what's who? What are you talking about? I'm just a gift shopist. And the pressure's on. The whole crowd of folks is like, kind of like circling around them now. And they don't know what to do. So Layla takes it to him. She takes the first guy. She start beating ass. They start running up the stairs, trying to get away from the whole crew, right? And Steven is still in control of the body. He's, useless, but he's running.
Oh my God, very useless.
Old girl is taking people out, fighting, knocking people over the stairwell. She's an asset. So they end up running up the stairs. They lock themselves into this upstairs attic room, right, with the strongest door I've ever seen in my life, because Arthur summoned a jackal like this.
Jackal, yeah.
Yeah, very similar to the first thing we saw in the first episode, like the dog-like demon.
Yes.
Dog-like demon is chasing after them, trying to get through the door. And she's like, change into the suit. What are you waiting for? And he's still trying to convince her, like, yo, I'm not Mark, I'm Steven. So she kind of was like, look, okay, well, if that's the case, how the hell are we going to get out of here, right? So I forget what happened. I think the door gets knocked in and Steven gets like pushed through the window. And as he's falling to his death, might I add, he somehow shifts into the suit. And this
But
was
it's not the suit you're
yes,
thinking though.
this is the real, like, almost like twists of the show for me, because I'm like, whole time I thought Moon Daddy was the one in the sexy suit, but it's Steven in the sexy mafia like suit. So he falls down, he bumps himself on some poles and stuff, he gets to the floor with his superhero stance in the whole white getup that you see in the flyer, with the the Scully with the moon on it, and the suit, the business suit, looking like he in the mafia.
He looked like an aggressive Colonel Sanders.
That's exactly
and they literally said that in the
now that they brought it up, I can see it when he has on the tux, like the jacket.
it's definitely the tux. Yeah,
it's definitely the jacket, but once he takes the jacket off, it's sexy again. So
that whole situation was interesting, because even like when he saw himself, he was like, "Oh, I look pretty sharp, don't I?" You know what I mean? And, but what I found interesting above all else is just that, like, the way he can switch from British to American. So like his British side, when he put on the suit as a Brit, he put on this like very posh. You know what I mean? He put on this like what their notion would be of what, you know what I mean, what a suit would look like.
Yes.
So, and that goes to show you that the powers are based on, whatever you're thinking about.
Very true. Very true. It can shift based upon the avatar, the
your
person
thought.
in control.
Oh, I was gonna say your thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So he does get into the new sexy suit, but it's Steven, so it's a little less sexy because it's him. But anyway, I digress. So
what'd you call him in the last episode? You called him a geek and a gump. I'm gonna look that up. A gump. I never heard that word a day in my life.
Oh,
and now,
yeah. Maybe it's from down here.
Okay.
But I'm not even gonna hold you. Steven is the man you want in your life, because he's gonna love you for life. Mark is gonna cheat on you, as we've seen, but Steven's gonna love you. So Steven, he gets down to the ground. he's fighting with the jackal. Now, no one else, we discovered that no one else can see the jackal.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
been MCU.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. I just read the whole action things. Family Matters meet MCU. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
So as he's fighting this jackal, oh girl, Layla comes down. She's sees him, but we
She
discovered that
can't
she cannot
see.
see the
She can't
jackal.
see the, but she knows something going on.
Yes, and I'm like, what does she know? Because she can't see these summoned demons.
These creatures. But
Yes.
I think what makes her what gives it away is when he's just randomly floating in the air, like when the Jekyll grabs him like this, and he's in the air, and you see his feet wiggling. It's like, oh, he's not flying. He's literally saying, "I can't breathe. I'm gas." You get what I'm saying? Like stuff like
Yes.
that to give it away. Because she picks up a piece of glass, smacked the shit out of the thing, and I don't know if she. So right. So this spot is interesting because he sees it but she doesn't. But I'm saying, does she
None the
hear
wiser.
when it roars? Huh?
Wait a minute.
Oh
Wait a
no,
minute.
she's none the wiser. She doesn't see it. She doesn't
There was
hear it.
some water on it, and then she saw it.
Yeah, once she
Like
hits it.
she saw it for the first time because when he first came, she looked like she didn't know what the fuck
When
was
she
going
hit it, but when she hit it, and her point of view, it's visible. You get
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
saying? So
invisible, but it's not like impenetrable. Like if
yeah,
something hits
right.
it,
Like if
you
she
can
hits it,
see it.
yeah. So she had an idea, like, oh, my man is being attacked. So I just
Yes.
wanted to throw that out there.
But my question is, she knows about the suit.
Right.
So she knows that Mark possesses like these superhuman, unnatural abilities.
For sure.
But she doesn't know about the Egyptian god, apparently. And she doesn't know about him being like, this other like
Just other life.
universe.
But I think there's these things she knows. She knows the stuff that's in front of her, but the stuff behind her, or the stuff like when the guy that you're talking to, the god,
Uh-huh.
um Arthur, there was an interesting spot where he would mimic the things he would say, to which Mark said, "Can you hear him?" And he's like, "No, I can't." So I just think Mark can see this because he has that ability to
Yeah,
see
because he's the avatar.
exactly. She's
But I'm
not.
like, I wonder how much it was disclosed to her because clearly she knows about the suit.
I think
Clearly
she
she
knows.
knows about his abilities,
Mhm. I
but she
think there's
doesn't know that he's an avatar.
I think there's enough that she. So does she know? No, I don't think she knows about that part. Like how, because every time he kept saying, "I'm Steven, I'm Steven, I'm Steven, I'm Steven," she's like, "I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying."
Mhm.
I think she's slowly kind of getting it because in this episode when she's like, "It's okay, Steven," like she said it and it just seemed
Yeah,
like
natural.
seemed like a force, like okay, Steven, wink, wink. It was more like Steven, like, no, I'm with you, Steven. It's all right. We're gonna figure out a way. So I think there's so much. Listen, it's once again a name like Mark. Do you trust a guy named Mark?
Don't go on Mark.
I
Mark
can't
is
trust
Moon
him.
Daddy. A Moon Daddy. We
Yeah,
trust the Moon Daddy out here in the
yeah.
streets.
And where's his moon kids?
So if you're watching, don't forget to drink your alcohol because this is a
Yeah,
wind down.
this is a
And
wind
leave
down.
us a like, share us with your
MCU,
friends.
wind down with the MCU, baby. But
Facts.
carry on. We were talking about that fight, and I thought Steven looked horrible, but he did have a moment where he did actually deck the monster.
Yes,
But
as he's fighting the monster, right?
yes,
Even though Layla was helping him, she's a ride or die. She's about her man. So she's fighting this invisible monster. And Steven is, doing what he can. The whole time Mark is like, yo, give me the body. You don't know what you're doing.
throughout the whole episode. Yep.
So Steven's like, no, you're a bad guy. He's like, I can do this.
Yes.
Even though I'm like, if I was Layla, ain't no way I'm about to be, I'll be throwing stuff from a distance. I'm not about to be in the trenches. Like she was literally right up on this monster, not knowing what it was, what it had in its hands. She was just about to protect her man. So this is a ride or die bitch. But Steven said he can protect her. So he's refusing to give up the body. He's talking himself up. He's, dodging and moving, talking about, yes, what did you say? Look like a butterfly, sting like a bee, that Ali line.
Steven with a V or something like that.
With a V.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah.
Steven with a V. So he talks himself up. And yo, Mark, thanks for watching. I thought you were joining us.
That's
what
Michael.
happened? So
that's Michael, not Mark.
Yes.
No.
Sorry. I thought it said Mike.
No.
Guys. It's alcohol.
Yep.
It's the alcohol. So I thought I said Mike, but anyway. So anyway, he gets this one good like punch in on the monster, and he's feeling like, the superstar.
Mike
But
Tyson. Yep.
meanwhile, he takes the fight out into the streets. There's pedestrians, there's buses full of people. And Mark convinces him, like, look, people are going to get hurt. You need to give me control of the body. And he does. And as soon as he does that, it turns into the like more traditional, like garb. It has the whole wraps, got the cape. It looks like, what we see in the trailers.
We get Moon Knight.
And
We get actual
yes,
Moon Knight. Yep.
and Layla's like, look, get him away from these people. This monster, get him away. So Moon Knight, Moon Daddy, he scales a building. The demon joiners follow him up into the rooftops. We get this really cool scene where they're running across. Moon Daddy is the star of the show. Okay, look, we tune in for Moon Daddy.
Exactly. I tune in for Moon Daddy. That's right.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
We know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
he's running across the rooftop. Really cool scene where the jackal is like following him. We get the second scene that we see in the trailer on this episode. He scales or he jumps across to the other rooftop. Moon's in the background. Very beautiful scene.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes this strategic move. He jumps over the rooftop. Jackal is just like, it's a demon, but it's stupid. It follows him. It gets impaled, kind of like Tobias and Black Lightning on the final episode.
I love all the stuff that go back to Black Lightning, the Jesus Fives and Imperi. Someone's getting impaled.
They got the same writers, man. The writers.
No, absolutely. They knew. They were like, you guys didn't miss your chance to review Black Lightning. We were like, thank you.
Facts. So we might link that later in the bio. But so the demon jackal gets impaled, disintegrates. Kind of like turns into dust. And we got Steven in control of the body.
No, Mark.
Oh, sorry. Mark in control of
Mm-hmm.
the body in the courtyard of this church or whatever. He sees Steven in his reflection, and they have like this little exchange.
Yes.
Where Steven's like, okay, give me control of the body. And Mark's like, you're not in control anymore, bruh. Something's changed. I can, he can't get his body back.
No.
And that's when it's disclosed that, I need control of this body. This is Mark. I need control of this body because the Egyptian demon or the Egyptian god plans to make Layla his next avatar. And Layla is his bitch. Like that's the girl he loves,
mm-hmm.
and he's trying to protect her, even though he's sleeping around on her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a scumbag with a heart.
He's a scumbag with a heart of gold, apparently.
Yeah, it's like this pretty much hip hop back in the 90s.
So Steve was like, yo, you a bad guy. Give me back my body. He's looking at him in the mirror, like, give it to me. And Mark has like this psychotic break. He starts stomping and breaking on the mirror, trying to get Steven to shut the hell up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we got the Egyptian god, Kamut, or like Kachu, or whatever his name is. He's talking to him in this very non-Egyptian accent, which I'm still like, why the fuck did they get like this British actor to play this Egyptian god? Doesn't make any sense to me, but wow. I digress. And so as he's talking to him, he's like, yo, you gotta do this for me or else. Pretty much he's pretty much threatening Layla. So we know whatever Mark said was the truth, even though Steven doesn't believe he's a good guy, doesn't believe what he says. We see that this is actually the case. The god is like eyeing Layla as his next avatar.
I felt very bad for Steven here because like this is why I was sitting here saying like, are we sure Arthur? I mean, granted, we know, and eventually Arthur's attention, and he also got the amulet. I wanted to throw that out there real quick. I'm interested. Why not such a fan so far, Mike? Put in the comment. But
yeah, tell us.
Yeah, please tell us. But I really felt for Steven because even when he's in the mirror, there was this moment where I watched it twice, right? Going to work and coming back. And when I'm watching it, you can tell the difference between Steven and Mark. Mark is confident. He's very sure of himself. Steven, he worked at a gift shop. And, and he's I'm looking that word up.
Y'all, if you're watching, leave us a like. Everyone knows what a gump. I can't believe they don't say gump.
We don't say that up here. Have you ever heard of a gump, Vic?
No.
Yes, I'm looking that up. And apparently it's a gump.
Really?
It sounds very southern.
But I'm looking that up. It's hilarious. But I just say like,
you know what I mean?
and that mirror, and when he was in the mirror zone, he just looked so lost and confused. He's like, look, man, I gave you my body. I gave you my body. I trust you. Can I get my? Because I want to have my life. I want to live my life. I ain't asked for any of this shit. I ain't asked for any of this.
Hmm.
So I really, honestly, really felt for him when he was. I really felt for him when he's in there and he's like, I've got to do this mission. I have a debt to pay, and especially when he realized he lost the amulet and he's talking to
Yes.
the giant god or the bird god, and this guy's hilarious because the bird god makes me laugh. Earlier on when he saw Arthur and and like you said, no one else could see him but Mark and Steven. But when he said to punch him in the throat, kill him, and just like, what do you mean? Like this is not.
He wasn't awful.
I mean, he was really on some like, look,
He's about that
you,
action.
he was about that action. So even when even with Mark, he didn't take Mark serious. He already don't take Steven seriously. He's saying the idiot's in charge. But when Mark is in there, he said, "I trust you to do this, and you haven't done this." And even
Hmm.
there was somewhere I screenshot it because it was funny because like I like learning new words. I forgot how it is, but it said he laughed in a certain way. He laughed at Mark. He's like, "Mark, like get out of here. Like you're a loser too." So, but carry on. I just wanted to throw it out.
You know
Part.
what? That spot kind of fell because then right after
Mhm.
that he was kind of like, I'll do anything to protect you. Da da da. It felt very father and son type of thing.
Hmm.
Like the type of parent that will give you tough love. You know what I'm saying? That's
I would
what.
say he's an abusive parent. Like, he's giving very much, Stockholm syndrome. He's got
Yeah.
this abusive, man in his life, but it's nothing he can do because he's kind of indebted to him. Um, but he does say, look, if you don't do this for me, this is the God talking, who my next avatar is Layla. So he tells him, like, look, oh, before this, we do get a cutaway scene where we see that, of course, Stephen did drop the amulet and it's in the streets, and we get a hand, picking that up. And it's this homeless guy, and who circles him, none other than Arthur, talking about, yo, yeah, just give me this. I can give you food. I can give you shelter. Um, but he judges him. He holds him by the hand, and I guess he says he's unworthy. The guy dies, instantly. So he takes
This
the
is
amulet.
wild.
Our girl Layla sees it on her little moped, and she zooms off in the moped. And that's when we get back to Mark and the Egyptian god. He's
Yeah.
telling him, like, look, we gotta go find it, right? So Mark's asking him where we're going, and he's like, you know where the fuck we're going.
No, exactly like that on Disney Plus. Exactly. Exact words on Disney Plus. You know where the fuck we going.
Yep.
You know where the fuck we're going. To
Exactly.
bags, bitch. We're going to Egypt.
Hmm.
And that's the next scene we see. We see him waking up in the hotel, very much like the end scene of Venom, where he wakes up in a random hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He looks out the window. We got this, song music playing in the background, and we see the pyramids in the landscape. So we know he's in Egypt.
Right.
And that's pretty much the end of the episode, guys. What did you think?
It wasn't bad. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Leverage. Go ahead. I'm
Well,
sorry.
before we get in that, we do have a comment saying that apparently
Mhm.
the series so far is just not moving fast enough, as I think it should for a 6-part series. I can see that criticism. I will say that they do kind of have to establish him, though, because we don't know nothing about Moon Knight. I never heard
Right.
about this motherfucker.
Exactly.
Moving fast enough. We start in London and now we in Egypt, so we moving pretty fucking quick, in my opinion.
I
But
think.
but what I was going to say before was just that, like, one thing that I can appreciate is the main character, his ability to do a really good British accent and a really good American accent is
Mhm.
amazing. I gotta give him,
Oscar Isaac,
yeah, I
great actor.
gotta give him props for that because it's believable. Like the
Mm.
way the back and forth is just believable, and the way that he's sitting there like fighting with himself. Wow, it's great. Now, other than that, the story so far is picking up. You're still telling us. You're still finding out what's going on, who's who, what's what's going on. Now we see that Moonlight is in debt, but now
Daddy.
he's in a situation where the
Unbelievable.
demon has leverage over him,
Hmm.
the name. You know what I mean? And so the
Right.
whole story, so a lot of this story is going to be about that leverage. It reminds me a little bit of the girl from, uh, damn, Annalise Keating. I can't remember her name from this girl's mother from the John Cena show. Anyway, I just can't think about it right now.
Talking about Peacemaker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peacemaker.
No, I'm talking about man, damn, forget it. Our minds out. But the point is just that like it's a whole notion of getting him to do what you need him to do because you have leverage over him. Right now, what I'm really curious to see is what the real relationship between these two it actually is.
Right.
Because clearly they know each other very well. So like, and then the other thing is that I'm very curious to dive a little bit more deeper into the relationship between Mark and his wife. Because I want to know why his wife is such a kick-ass.
Facts.
Because she's coming across like Black Widow right now. Like I want to know why. Like she could do all that. So I feel like there's more to this. And I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm down for it.
There's definitely layers, and I feel like they're giving us just enough. So for the next episode, we still got more to go. Like, man, what like you want more. In each episode, you want to have more and want more. So I do want to know those things. Know a little bit more about, like you said, about Mark. Like, no, I say Mark because and I can never pronounce the giant Egyptian god name, but he says, "When I met you, you was just a corpse." Apparently, he's Bane.
Yes.
You heard? He was just a corpse.
He's somebody that he placed inside Steven, and I'm like, when are we getting more details about this? Because poor Steven.
And even wondering why did they select Steven? There must have been a reason. Now, granted, I think some of the reason is his knowledge for the and I say Egyptian culture, another word for it, but I'm just saying his knowledge for all that stuff. But I want to know, why did they pick him?
Well, there was this line where Arthur asked him, like, why do you think they picked you? Because your mind is so
broken. He said broken.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe that has something to do with it.
You know what though? But I think that scene between Stephen and Mark's wife, where they were both able to read Egyptian hieroglyphics, that's a good point. And there was one thing that I found pretty interesting. Like, you can learn the alphabet, but you have to know ancient Egyptian in order to read it. So I thought that part of it was interesting, because I wonder how rooted in reality that is. But they both knew those kind of things. They
both spoke French. They both had the same favorite, poet.
She was more relatable to Stephen than Mark, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, did he use a little bit? You know how guys nowadays, they like to stalk through your Instagram accounts or whatever, and they just kind of get what you like, and they start talking to you about what you like based off what they see. I wonder if Mark did the same thing. Like, he kind of like gets a little bit of what she likes, knows about it, and kind of targets her based on that. But maybe we're reading it too much into it.
Possibly.
But I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was, a good pace. I thought we get a lot of information in the episode, and we get a lot of action. So far, is it my favorite Marvel series? No. Is it interesting? Yes. I'm here for it. And again, Oscar Isaac, he does a great job. Honestly, if he wasn't in it, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. I think his performance makes the show. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. And if you're enjoying this here with us this evening, don't forget to leave us a like. Don't forget to join us next week around 8-ish CPT.
Hold on, whoa. Before we cut out, I think we have it here. Do we have it here? We do. Do we? Yeah, we do, because you can catch us if you guys have an Instagram. You guys should tune in tomorrow, because we got this going.
Yes.
Oh, look at that right there tomorrow. Mighty Mouse against Underdog. UPR battles. I represent Mighty Mouse. She represent Dumb Dog and
Underdog. And yes, this is a UPR exclusive Instagram series where we rep characters from your favorite comic books, cartoons, commercials, and we put them in a battle, and we see who the hell will win in a fight. Yeah. So again, join us tomorrow on Instagram at unpopular.review. And yeah, we will see you either tomorrow on Instagram or next Wednesday for the next episode of Moon Knights.
Peace, folks.